Welcome to 100 Gems Podcast, home of the Gems, baby. And it's Thursday night. Why did I get married? And we got a couple of things we going to be going in. Of course, we got our girl Tasha here. Then we got our guy, Mr. Solo, DJ Solo. The first thing I want to start off with, though, is today. Why did I get married? Podcast. Let's focus on the themes and dynamics portrayed in the African American sitcoms, the Cosby Show, Good Times, and the Jeffersons. You know, they were some different kind of folks back then. Especially, you know, my favorite out of all of them was Good Times, just for the record. The Cosby, yeah, I liked it. A couple girls that ran through. And how they had it real sweet though, you know what I mean? They did. It was foreign.
They almost had it impossible.
I'm talking about it was foreign. You know, I had to work my way into a crib. You know what I mean? It wasn't no, you know. But I'm gonna pass this off, man. To somehow I guess we got Tasha, then we got our guy Solo. Come on, Tasha.
You gotta come a little closer, man.
I gotta be. Oh, it. I forgot this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got some viewers on here. We need you to be on the mic. We need you to be here. Okay.
So we talking about comparison of the three, or what we talking about?
Well, it's a comparison of the three, but the dynamics of the three. When we look at it, how does it relate to, you know, real life? You know what I mean?
I think the Cosby was so far from real life in the time that it was in. Maybe
gave you something to hope for.
It gave you something to hope for. Like all three of them gave different interpretation of what family orientation looked like. So you know, it's unrealistic to have two power people. She was a lawyer, he was a doctor, and they kept the balance of the family, and it was diverse. It was almost to me, it was kind of confusing because they had light-skinned kids and dark-skinned kids, and they never told the story.
And they both was dark-skinned.
Yeah, and they both were dark-skinned, and nobody ever told the story of where these light-skinned girls come from.
That don't mean nothing. My granddaughter light-skinned. Both her parents.
You still got to explain that, though. You got to, hey, listen.
You can't say that.
You got to explain why our babies.
But they was some good light-skinned
They was
kids.
pretty. Listen, what, Lisa Bonet? There was some pretty girls.
That's why I watched the Cosby Show.
Man, I love the Cosby Show. It gave, you know, watching that did inspire people to what they want in a family if they didn't have it already in reality. But I think the Jeffersons, it showed a reality standpoint because was that based out of Chicago?
Hey, I can't say though, you know, old George, man, you know, coming on up. I kind of understood some of it, you know, but George, you know, and then I can say it's real fellas out here right now that look like George Jefferson, and act like George Jefferson, then got a hold to a piece of change, and they didn't change.
Yeah,
man.
You
know what I mean? Because if you look,
I think money just make you who you really are. You know what I'm saying? When you get
I can't say that. I ain't gonna
money
say that.
polish money. Guess what?
I say it'll help polish.
Money polish your game.
Yeah,
if you a snake,
that.
you're gonna be a snake. You're gonna be a super snake. If
you
you player, you're gonna be super player. If you grown, you're gonna be super grown. You know what I'm saying? But money don't do nothing but enhance it takes away all the problems, the barriers that you have to being you, because most of the stuff that's in your way of you being you cost. You know what I'm saying? So if he was like that, that's just because he finally got a piece of change, and guess what? That's just who he was gonna be.
I also see the Huxtables too, man, in a way where, you know, they had to be groomed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That stuff come from, you know, their family members, them wanting more, and they got groomed on how to get more. Right. And then these are the things that you need to be able to do and to navigate and to have that structure. You did what I'm saying? The kids was super good.
Right.
Them wasn't no bad kids, man. Lisa Bonet and them, she didn't get pregnant. Now one of them got pregnant.
And they brought their boyfriends home.
I'm talking about
they brought their boyfriends home to make sure they had the blessing.
Yeah. So, Tosh, what you think about Lisa Bonet and them? You think? I know I can hear you saying them old face.
Man, listen here. We know our house is more like the Good Times.
Come on now.
You know, so I mean, you had the two parents that were visible, but ain't no, let's sit down and have, you getting checked.
Getting checked.
You get out of order, you getting checked. And I think that, even though I love the sitcoms, sometimes they created and I don't want to say that because you have some, I don't want people to feel like, it wasn't reality in the African American homes where you couldn't have a lawyer mama and a doctor daddy, and you couldn't have I'm just saying our reality.
At that time, that wasn't reality.
Man, yeah, right.
How many, okay, what year was that based in?
So you mean to tell me none of your friends had doctors, mamas was doctors?
None. And listen, 85% of households didn't have daddies in it, so they definitely didn't have doctor daddies.
Unless you live with grandma.
Guess what? Unless you lived in L.A.
Or you live with grandma.
If you live with grandma didn't have no job.
My granddaddy did.
But what my granddaddy was...
My granddaddy worked there. My grandma didn't work.
I'm saying in the average
house... My granddaddy was getting it, but he wasn't getting it.
In the average household, one of the two didn't work. One stayed at home, and the other one was a breadwinner. Just because if I go by my grandma's house, I didn't know till I was older why my grandmother didn't have to work, because my grandfather did everything.
Exactly.
But he wasn't never there really because he went to work. That's where I got my work at the front. And guess what my kids probably say? Daddy always at work. Guess what? I just mimicked that. So let's be honest, most households didn't have everybody in the household visible all day. You might have seen like the Jeffersons, he coming and he going. You know what I'm saying? And so when you think about it, mama was there all day. But daddy wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But in the Huxtable household, it was equal. He a doctor and he at home most of the day. What doctor is at home most of the day? Most doctors don't call.
But the kind of doctor he was. What
he was like he had babies. He birthed babies.
Though, man.
So he should have always been. People have babies every 30 seconds.
I hate
then maybe them wasn't his patient.
That was his. He was the only residential doctor there. You don't remember the episode?
Did he pick being that doctor?
I don't think so. I don't know.
A doctor that have babies, but that means you got to check on the thing on a regular basis.
Yeah, you got to see that all day, every day.
Hey, it's just amazing how stuff be put together, and when you look at it, when I think about it, man, because to me that that one. It wasn't real to me.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't traditional.
It wasn't like nothing I had seen. Everybody I seen either they was working somewhere at a factory or doing something like this.
I really think that was the point of them making the show like that, because it gave you something to hope for or to imagine. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing, to be honest, nothing was real about that. What black family don't got a bad kid? Like, even all the way down to...
They didn't have no bad kids.
They didn't have none. Rudy, Bud, none of them. Their friends wasn't... They didn't have no bad friend that come over and do some shady stuff. Nothing came up stolen in no episode, nothing. It was just, everything was perfect. And I was like, I think that was the whole point of that show, was to just, this is what it could be like.
Cedric said, what up, Rob?
Who?
Cedric Fleming.
I'll tell him I said what's happening.
And then Queen said, she said, my mother worked half of my youth, then became a stay-at-home mother while my dad worked construction at L. Smith. And sometimes it's like that.
See? In every household I knew, it was like that. If you didn't work at Master Lot, Briggs and Stratton, guess what?
But the kids, the kids, I don't know no family where the kids wasn't bad, man.
None.
When I grew
at least
up,
one.
Man, listen, and we had to get in the house.
Vanessa was
before
bad.
the lights get on.
Vanessa when they got drunk. Vanessa did.
That ain't bad, though.
But I mean,
that ain't bad.
I think I'm talking about bad. You Kia girl.
No, she wasn't getting drunk on the regular.
No, you ain't see her always.
She didn't have nobody climbing through her windows.
You ain't see her snap on mama or none of that. Whenever they did something wrong, they was remorseful and apologetic. I'm so sorry,
that's how
Mom.
they raised them, though?
I think it's a lot of people that raise their kids with the best intentions. That don't mean their kids come out the best. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think what he was saying though before was like, this is how it could be.
Yeah.
And
in a perfect world.
Yeah. I think how it was though was more of like with JJ and them, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Janet.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that was real. The mama and the fella worked all day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But
I think that
when
was
they
more
came home though,
though.
it wasn't no games at the house, and they used to be up to a few things. I know JJ, he tried at least. You know what I'm saying?
It's just sad. I guess it goes to show that growing up we didn't have rich friends.
You
know what I'm saying? Because that is a reality. Somebody,
you know what?
That's a reality in somebody's world.
I had rich friends. I had rich friends. Matter of fact, I got a cousin. His mama owned a hair salon, and his daddy worked at Master Lock. And I'm talking, but I used to go by their house, but he was like an only child in the house. You know what I'm saying? He had it. You know what I'm saying? You know Juice Man, and he had it, dog. And I'm talking about.
I see.
But he wasn't perfect, so because he had that privilege, he can get into some dirt. He can do something because he had that backup. And I noticed that about his household. From my household, it was like, nah, when you had both parents and the dynamics and the financial structure, he always got a car. He always got whatever he wanted. Guess what? But that compelled him to do whatever he wanted to do, which is the opposite of the Huxtables and everybody that I see. Because everybody I seen growing up with a silver spoon, they tried to get in some dirt.
They got in some dirt.
They got in some dirt, right.
But you know what? See, we be taking some... Queena said, she said bad was different and fun back in the days. We call bad staying out past the streetlights playing ding dong ditch on doorbells. But today's kids bad to them means violence and killing.
Yeah.
It's a different time.
But you know what though?
Yeah,
but
because
society has desensitized a lot of what's okay and what these kids exposed to. Like, we didn't have video games with gore. We had Mortal Kombat, and you had to get a cheat code to see blood. You know what I'm saying? Now they grow up with a tablet that you can see anything you want at any given time. So a lot of what they think is okay is because they okay with that. We wasn't okay. I mean, somebody asked me, like, what happened the first time you shoot somebody? If you ask a kid nowadays, it might be a different answer from mine. You know what I'm saying? Because now a kid might be like, what? Then what? You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, nigga, you go into shell shock and you throw up and you can't sleep. That's how I grew up. But now they grow up seeing this so regularly. Watch TV. You see everything.
I know one of the things I got to say too, man. One of the things that drove me, I was always seeking information, knowledge, and things of that nature. That was my main driver. I was always a student.
Right.
You know, I wanted to get it because I figured that's how you get it. You have to learn how to get it. Right. You know what I mean? But with that too, I was only privy to what was in front of me. You know what I mean? So to speak. It wasn't like, until I got into some of my later years that the fellas came into my life and said, hey, man, it's a better grip over here. I see you's a learner, right. But won't you check this out right here, versus all that other stuff.
And I think that's another factor that changes the society we live in, exposure to certain people. Like,
ain't no big homies.
Well, big homie ain't. He don't have access like it was back then. It was a privilege for me to have a big homie because I was, I lived a certain life. You get what I'm saying? So that was essential for me to get to that next level. Now that scale that they run is 10K followers, that likes on Instagram. So if the gratification that you got from that game that big homie gave you, they think they can hit a lick through something on Instagram or something like that, or scamming.
Oh man, it was like that then too, though, because
the access wasn't there. You had to know somebody to know somebody. You had to get up off the porch and really do something. And people wasn't just giving out game. Your pedigree had to be qualified to be qualified. We say you had to be qualified to be by a player's side. If you was a mog, that's what we call it. Guess what? You get over there because we ain't on none of that. Now anybody can Google and be on YouTube and like anybody could be anybody, anything on social media. And everybody believe it because it's on social media. But it's like in real life, you really had to be somebody in the hood. Yeah. Because guess what? We knew who you was. Yeah. It's like jail. You can't go up in there lying and everybody know the truth. No. But on social media, guess what? They can lie. They can have a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out of, and guess what? And still be somebody. That's something.
What you just said though. A mog is a mog. That's the bottom line.
No, your bottom line.
You're going to know him 1,000 miles away. I told you ain't got to talk to him long. None of that. This is a mog. So, and unfortunately, them mogs would infiltrate into people's family.
Yes.
We was talking earlier about stepdads and different things of that nature, man.
Yeah.
I know I had a stepdad was a true mob.
Yeah, okay.
Everything about him was straight mob. All that. He got ran off like a mob too.
Right.
I'm talking about, so, and they bring a whole nother dynamic into the game, man. You do got some who can fake real good, play like they,
they read the handbook. They read the handbook, so guess what? They can run the play.
Yeah, but in a real, who they really is though, they monsters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, tell Jamie. She said, "What we talking about?"
What we talking about? We talking about the family. We talking about how some of these families did things back in the day. And then how it was fixated over here on TV. But then how some of it chimed in, and we just trying to get it figured out how it feel with how we had it, how we grew up.
And then how it is now as far as like, because it's like a man could be in the house now, but it ain't the stepdaddy how it was when we was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Them men took on the responsibility of these kids, of the house. Now it's like, it's like the men. Can you see the men?
I know Anthony.
Oh, Anthony, I know Anthony Hayes. He said, "What's up, Ed?" So the men are in the house. It's like, I'm here for the mama. It's not. It's limited interaction.
Well, you know what? Because that's what we were just talking about. Because
3 lost generations, right, Jamie? It's
because
like,
do the women give access to the kids, and because the dynamic of the household ain't mama, children, and it's a division there. How do you get access to children that are ultimately led by social media?
But like
some mamas is still outside. We just talk. Some mamas is still.
I'm outside.
No, I know you ain't out. You ain't outside. You very in tune with your kids. Like you got access to your kids.
You in the front yard.
When you when you talk, they listen. So it's some kids that's on an equal playing field with their mama. Like you got to talk to them to get to them versus talk to their mom. Back in the day, if I talk to you, it was a package deal. Your kids follow suit. Now your kids will challenge you with what you say. Man, I ain't got to listen to dog.
Yeah, see, we ain't doing. But Jamie said the dynamics is destroyed. And Rudy said, she said, we was not our parents' friends, and my kids are not my friends.
Yeah, that's the big.
That's the big thing.
Yep, that's the thing. Everybody want to be
I ain't gonna lie,
friend.
man. If back, man, me coming up when it was a girl, I got with a girl, man. She had a baby. He went and lived with his daddy. They went and lived with their daddy. Mm-hmm. They got, because I was on a whole different page.
Wait a minute, say that again. Wait.
I said, hey, listen, and y'all know who I'm talking about too. If you looking, when I got with a woman and she had some kid or a child or two, they went and lived with their daddy.
The children,
yeah. But we
you wasn't on that stepdaddy stuff.
No, I couldn't, because I wasn't no stepdaddy. I was the wrong stepdaddy. I'm just keeping that 100. I was doing some wrong stuff, man. I wasn't finna expose this into them kids, to them babies' lives. I'm finna give y'all some change and fill your backpack up, and y'all going to Pops. On everything.
And some people got to realize that when you in a relationship with somebody, the role that they signed up for, you can't give them a sub role and sign them up for that. Because if I'm messing with you, I'm messing with you.
But you know what? Queen said these men today mostly homeless and just need somewhere to stay. And
no, that's them niggas, and they always been out there. That's the Mogs.
That's the Mogs.
That's the Mogs.
Hey, don't be bringing them Mogs in
and
there.
You know what? You just got to know the difference between a real live man, a player, and a Mog. And if you letting a Mog in your circle, you need to tighten your ship up.
But Rocky said, right, no sub roles. And then Tyrone said, we was raised by the old creed. How can you love a woman if you don't love the kids, and vice versa?
And now I can say, now that I have matured, you understand what I'm saying? And I mess around and had a baby too.
Right.
That helped. So it wasn't like I could send the baby nowhere.
Right.
And then I respected the young lady. She waited before she brought the baby around. Okay. You know what I mean? She let me know. She said, but before, we kicked it. We got to know each other. That gave me a brand new perspective, and I was on a different page. So now, though, being a stepdaddy is completely different.
Now, did you find yourself having to establish a relationship with the child?
Ain't no doubt.
And was that easy? Like after you've already, because see, this is the thing that happens, and
that wasn't easy, man. Keeping it 100, all this stuff was hard, man.
Yeah.
A family
on yourself, because
all of it was hard. Man.
A lot of women don't know that just because you like the man, don't mean your kids like the man.
Oh yeah,
you get what I'm saying, and that's all.
But I love kids though. That was something.
I'm saying you love
that
them.
was the reason why they had to go to their daddy because I love kids.
Right.
You know, I wasn't finna
Because there's some kids nowadays.
I wasn't gonna be a talked about subject down the line. Dude was doing this, that, and the other, and that's why I'm messed up.
Because some of these ladies been
No.
so much friends with their kids, like they been friends with their boys. They boys will rob you. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't that type, I mean, that jealous and envy, they kids is mogs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And then they get with their partners, and then they backdoor you, and your shit come up missing. And before you know it, you like, hold on, baby, I love you, but you know your son is bogus, and you done brung him up as your guy. And so instead of you being able to stand 10 toes on him, now he can do whatever he wants to.
But let me ask you this: as a man, are you? A lot of times, you know, and like she said, I mean, it ain't necessarily, maybe it's not we need you, Jamie. But a lot of times, maybe it ain't the fact that you homeless, you digging this woman, but are you checking out what's going on in the house before you get yourself there? You know
that's
I'm
what we
got to
do.
But
You
you
better
move
believe
in, and then you like, oh,
See,
man, your kids too
Yeah,
bad.
you
But how
better
many
believe
times have you actually went over there? How many times have you?
Well, you know what, and that's a two-way street because a lot of people don't expose their flaws until you in deep with them. Like until you actually stay with a person, you see the representative. You see what they want you to see, and then that everyday person. That person that they can't cover up, you see that when you up close and personal. But with kids, that relationship, you see it, but a lot of people, they go to blind eye because they don't really look at it because it's not their issue to address. No, if it ain't their house, if it ain't their everyday structure.
And like Rocky said, some kids can sense the BS, and there's also the kids who will desire the mom and dad to be together. Most be able to.
Yeah, it's a traumatic thing for the mom and daddy not to be together, and that's trauma for them. And for them to see you moving on and you not to effectively communicate with your kids that mama is trying to have a life past daddy, that is a lot. Like a lot of kids go through trauma when they try to look at a stepdaddy or a stepmama because that look like a replacement of their mama, or they don't really know how to digest it.
Send it, Jamie.
And if you don't break that down to them, what you doing with your life, which a lot of times we say kids stay in a kid place, but you involve them in adult situations when they feelings is involved and you not really breaking that down for them.
I'm gonna say this too, man. You know, one of the things though, you got to have those boundaries. You know, you gotta be able to set things, out the gate. I know Tasha, when she came in, she had said something about somebody got a C cap, knew what their credit score.
Child support.
Child support.
Any liens, I need to know everything.
You're not just about
what
to
my
be
girl
around.
saying, the paperwork.
Yeah,
Jamie, I'm trying to find it.
though.
But you're not just about to be around. I mean, and I think I was raised, and my cousins, my brothers on here, I was raised at a different time. You're not about to just be around my kids because I was in a situation where I didn't date men. If you ain't got hotel money, you ain't got your own crib, but we can't do. I got daughters. You ain't gonna just date my kids. You ain't gonna just meet my kids unless I know. And before I got married, me and my husband, we had a whole sit down. And the thing about it is, I told you, my one daughter dad tried to have a problem. Hold on, if you can't respect him,
right?
If you can't pull up to get your child, and you can't speak to my husband and brother, we got a problem. Because it's my job to make sure because.
And that's exactly what people got to understand. It's your job to set that boundary.
I'm gonna set that
tone to what's gonna happen.
Meet her at the bus stop because you ain't gonna come up in here.
Because dudes only do what women allow them to do.
You ain't running nothing up in here. I think people know you ain't running nothing up in here.
Hold on.
Hey, I'm keeping it 100. Everything we do is to obtain the woman that we want, and everything we do after that is to keep her. So a lot of times, man, you step your game up for the right woman, and you stand down for the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? And if you tight and solid on your own, you know that guess what? I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, but it's for the right one.
But the power of the P have y'all messed up, and you'll do what you don't want to do
because
you
want
to do what you want to do.
What?
But the power of the P go both ways, though.
To a sucker. The power of the P goes to a sucker.
Hey, what about listen.
The power of the D?
No, GAME.
Wait a minute.
You got to lay that GAME down, man. Listen.
Hey, keeping it 100, when you with them real girls, you better lay that D down.
You got to. That's part of the game. You know what? A girl will stay in order for. It's two things they respect: dick and dope. Two things they respect: dick and dope. But all that other stuff, guess what? It might work, but guess what? It's a nigga right now with the right D, and guess what? He ain't got to come home with nothing but that.
And that's the thing, though.
Ladies, chime in on that one. We need y'all to chime in.
Hey, I'm thinking too, though, man. You know, another thing that came along with was starting a family.
Yeah.
Again, you know what I mean? And you got to understand, I'm starting a family after, you know, my youngest was 30 years old.
Okay.
Before I had a baby.
Gotcha.
You dig what I'm saying? So all this stuff was spanking brand new to me.
And you in a new society.
Oh,
you
man.
in a new world.
I'm talking about a new world.
So you can't even bring your principles that, because that don't even apply no more.
It was a different. You know what? You know what did apply though? Was me standing on my business.
Yeah.
And that's something I had always done. As a man, I'm standing on my business.
That's for you, though. That's for you.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I got with the girl, man, it wasn't no question like, baby, you know, you with a fella that's standing on his business. Right. And I ain't finna be playing with nobody else's. I ain't got time for nobody else's business. And with kids, though, I had to learn. I had to learn, though, that, you know, you gonna have to deal with some things, man.
Right.
Cause I got an 11-year-old. I had to learn how to deal with.
Now, how did you set the boundaries for how much you willing to deal with? Cause see, for me, it was always different from my pedigree to the world that I live in now.
Oh man, that was easy though, man. You know, cause they young.
Okay, that make a difference when they coachable.
Hard, you know, and no, it wasn't even coachable. It was just, you know, I knew how to play them from afar.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, and then them nuggets that I sent, man, they was good nuggets. Yeah, okay. Them was some real live gems.
But they was being received.
Yeah, no question about it.
So that's, I mean, that makes, it makes a difference when the message is being received and, you know what I'm saying, game is being soaked up and you got some type of authority.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't see it.
Because when you got somebody that's going to buck or they stuck, you know what I'm saying, in their situation, it's different because they want to come to you, but you know, if you could be dealing with a 12-year-old who just resentful, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, he got a severed relationship, one with the mama and one with his daddy, and then here you come along, and now it's like, man, who is dog, man?
But you know, fortunately, I ain't have to deal with too much of that, man. You know what I mean?
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
And then how I'm coming in the game, man. You know, I always had an agenda.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be laying, you know, matter of fact, I had a couple of agendas.
Right.
And I would make sure that main one, though, was laid out. Right. Like, baby, here we go. This is how we gonna do it. You know what I mean? Or this is how I'm gonna do it.
We got a guest on here, Rod.
Hold on, let me tell you. We got
Jamie on here. We need
Hey, Jamie, how you doing? All right, Jamie.
What you got to say, Jamie?
I'm gonna jump in where y'all at with these kids and y'all think these women with these kids and you know you're sending the kids to their daddy when you come visit and all that. First of all, that's all fucked up. That's all fucked up in the first place. These are conversations that need to be had before you start dating some woman with some kids.
But we don't. But we don't.
Yeah.
And if you dealing with a woman that has kids and you know that you don't carry the capacity. I'm gonna say you don't carry the capacity to want to deal with her and her kids. You don't got no business in there. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna go back because y'all was talking about the dynamics of parents, these parents being friends. All of that kind of go coincide. Because when I grew up, we didn't even know my mama had a boyfriend. Y'all, you know, that was Uncle Charlie that we saw with his
That's traumatic in itself, man. I'm thinking I got all these uncles, and guess what? Dropping off D when I get 30.
Hey, what about when Uncle Charlie was in the Thunderbird and he was white?
Right. At 2 a.m, Uncle Charlie go in the room.
I'm trying to figure it out then. I had to deal with him, man.
That's your brother, mama? When I learned what an uncle was.
That's on the real. And he sent me to the store.
Right. Gave you a couple $.
Hey, he was gonna have to send me to the store. Uncle Charlie too? Oh, no doubt.
What you bring to the table, am I willing to accept that? And vice versa. People don't do that at all. We never do. That's why we get disappointed, and you be on TV on social media talking about the nigga ain't shit. The bitch ain't shit. You know, it's just a bunch of, you know, shit. Because what we do is we run into people and we date people and we base everything on our perception of what we think they are or what we want them to be, and find out this motherfucker ain't even got the capacity to do none of that.
Because we don't challenge, we don't challenge nobody to date.
But is he bow-legged and light-skinned and all that old crap?
Oh yeah, he got good hair.
It's amazing.
He got good hair.
It's amazing what a fella can get away with. I hear that. Because, you know, it's amazing what a fella can get away with, man, especially if he's slanging. If he's slanging, I'm talking about, man, don't let him be slanging both ways either. You dig? I'm talking about, ain't no telling what he going to be able to get away with.
Right, but when we talked about the dynamic, the whole dynamic, all that, what we came up with, that if anybody born after 1975 is fucked up right now, period. When the dope game came in, it destroyed the whole family. There was none of that old school teaching. There was none of that good game that you got from grandmama because she ain't left her motherfucking house, but the mailbox full with an envelope full of money, and Pee-wee down the street to put his whole SSI check in the bit. We didn't get none of that. Them kids ain't got none of that. I work in the prison system. I sit in the day room and listen at these young fellas, and that the thought process is so fucked up, and you can't tell them nothing. You can't blame them at the same time. You can't blame them because here's the thing: you got to realize what we dealing out with now. Them is the dope babies. They grown. They got babies now. So you talking about mama was on dope, grandmama had the kids, grandmama had raised her motherfucking kids, so her only job was to make sure social services didn't get your black ass and put some clothes on your back. She had time to give you that game that she came up with and she taught her kids, although Betty went out there and got high and smoked the pipe and left your ass. It's none of that no more. So now them babies had babies, and everything is a learned behavior. So we got generation after generation of lost motherfuckers. Like I don't know who that is sitting to your other side. I forgot his name, but he brought it up. We did. We had the opportunity to be in the presence of. A lot of it was bullshit, and I'm going to say it was bullshit because it had no longevity. We was never taught longevity in the black community. However, we did have access to other things and other people where we could get information that these kids don't have no access to, and the ones that do got it, they don't want it because they don't know how to accept it. They don't know what it is.
Well, they got access. It's in society, they got access, but the ultimate goal is not the ultimate goal. Like, we wanted to live. They want to be famous. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's popping right now ain't living. What's popping right now is Instagram, 10K followers, the fashion. So it's like they got a short-term game that if they get it, they get it.
Let me tell you why I say it's not there. Again, it's a learned behavior. They can't seek what they ain't never known to exist. So if I ain't taught my daughter a motherfucking thing because my mama was on dope and she ain't taught me a motherfucking thing, where is the information coming from for them to even know that these resources exist? And then ones like us, there's maybe a few of us still standing that will tolerate this shit, but most people is fed up and tired and don't want to deal with these motherfuckers because you can't tell them nothing. They don't listen. They don't understand. Their whole mindset was brought up on fucking survival. That's it.
That's it.
The fuck I can get, when I can get it, how I got to get it, if I got to be motherfucking Beyonce on this social media to make this nigga think I can to get it covered, that's what I gotta do. I don't know how to be anything but what my imagination has allowed me to be, and my imagination stems from what I've seen in society. Like you said, social media, TikTok, Facebook, all this old goofy ass shit, because I got about 7,000 fucking friends, and I know for a fact 4,000 of them motherfuckers ain't nowhere near who the fuck they say.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Man, I got my girl Jamie on here.
Hey, cool that mic down, man. Cool that mic. That motherfucker hot.
Man, she ain't playing.
That motherfucker hot.
Hey, and then.
And they don't want it. Like the one in the comments, she said they don't want it. They don't want it because they don't know nothing about it. Every motherfucker, that's me, you, and anybody. What do we fear the most? The motherfucking unknown. Everybody fears the unknown. So if I'm not used to that and I ain't been seeing that and I ain't been exposed to that, I don't know what that is. So I don't want no parts of it. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, we got 3 lost generations. Do I feel like it's a hope for them? Probably not, to keep it 100. I'm just keeping it real. God gonna have to come clean all this shit up. This shit all right now.
You know what? Let me say this. I know I see my big sis, my mentor, she jumped in. She and a lot of times, you know, the disconnect, because we teach in it's the Milwaukee County Integration Center now, you know, formerly the House of Correction. My mentor, my big sister, she's taken over. She's a superintendent out there. And so the mindset, the thing that she's creating out there, we actually just did another tour today, is because you're here, I don't want you to feel like this is it. So she has so many different apprenticeship programs. So I tell people a lot of times, if you don't get it, it's because you don't want to. Because even if you go to some place, like if you're incarcerated, you're in a place where you have someone that don't call you an inmate, they call you a resident. You got somebody who said, who you got people. It's
Yeah, so
right.
The thing about it is for those institutions that have it, but the thing about it is you got 300 fucking officers, but it's only 10 of them motherfuckers that think along them gaps, like your god sister. Most of them don't think along that gap. And the first discord that comes along in the facility, they like, fuck them niggas. You know what I mean? I got written up so many motherfucking times because I sat in the day room. We gonna chop it up because this shit you talk about, young brother, don't make no motherfucking sense. And what you mean, Underwood, you done turned my motherfucking phone off because why the fuck you in my day room hollering at a bitch that you ain't got no control over on that motherfucking phone? If that conversation ain't about, baby, how the kids doing? Okay, baby, I was thinking about doing X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? And can you call these people to find out what information I need to establish this business? If you ain't talking about that on that motherfucking phone, what is you on there? But they didn't get that. And them motherfuckers started calling me mama. You know what I mean? And I would tell them, you get some that's disrespectful because they don't know nothing. But I wouldn't make a scene and strip they man here because at the same time, they criminals, but they still young men. You see what I'm saying? I smooth ease into their room, you know, instead of say, you know that ain't for me and you, brother, right? You know what I'm saying? That ain't for me and you.
And it needs to be more out there, like you, Jamie. And that's why I want to. And my sister, my big sister just recorrected me. Milwaukee County Community Reintegration Center. Yeah, and you know what? Exactly. But when you don't. And when that's why I respect her so much, because like you said, you in a position where, but like when you the boss and you can trickle it down, you know what I'm saying? Where she was able to create an environment where she's allowing us to do programs, she's allowing men to learn about being entrepreneurs, you know. So that I tell people right now, if you don't get it at this point, it's because you don't want to get it. I tell my kids that too. You make a decision. If you don't get it, it's because you don't want to get it. It's not because you don't have people around.
That's the underlying factor. That's the underlying factor.
You ain't been exposed to mentors to do that for you. The bottom line is you're not gonna get it because you never again. But I said wasn't exposed to it. Like he said earlier, these motherfuckers running around here trying to be their friends and they homies and all that. Bitch, you was not my fucking equal. You was my kid. My daughter 29 years old, and I tell you, she'll bow face if I look at her any 2 times twice because she know I ain't playing no games with her. I'm not your friend.
But you did. And this is why we love you, Jamie. Thank you, boo, for coming on. Thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you, boo. Thing, because we gotta get you going next. Okay. Yeah, I'm finna inbox you so you can text me. I love you, boo, because we need you in the building.
I teach them about the trucking business. You know, I don't know if you know Sharita, but she worked for SDG.
Yep.
She done had me in there a few times. Yeah, that's my cousin. So yeah.
I'm gonna inbox you because I love you. We need you in the building next time you on fire. We thank you, baby. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to chime in and say, like the individual that was just on live, like when she first started, she said, first off, y'all are having 5-6 conversations, which is very true, because I'm physically here in the building, and I was like, where are we going with this, right? Because we started off with, you know what I'm saying, and so it's like we're talking to an audience and we don't want to confuse the audience with the topic of conversation. You know, I'm only bringing this up because she pointed it out. Like y'all having 5-6 conversations with the original.
I think that's because she wasn't there originally.
Yeah.
That the question was broad enough where 5-6 conversations could answer.
Kind of jump around.
The question was about 3 different TV shows and how it reflected on family dynamics and how we related to it. Yeah. So it could went anywhere with it. But if you wasn't there in the beginning when the question was asked, you will be looking for a specific topic, like a question and answer.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so I was just saying is that so despite the fact a conversation, so we're like you said, the original question at hand was the Huxtables, the Good Times, and the Jeffersons, right?
Right.
What was the the correlation between the three, or like
How did I'm assuming this how I took it. How did it relate to
how did it relate to real life, or how did it affect us watching it
both?
growing up?
Both.
Okay. Yeah. And so it's just like, well, so despite the fact the question at hand was presented, and yes, that is because those are three different couples, right? The Huxtables had kids. The Jeffersons, they didn't have children. They didn't have kids, right?
Yeah, Lionel.
Yeah, they had one.
Yeah.
And then you had Good Times, where it was more so struggle. So Good Times was more relatable to a lot of us because
Right.
wasn't nothing good about Good Times, right?
Right.
So it was, you have three different TV shows, three different viewpoints, three different dynamics. And yes, that is a broad conversation, a broad question at hand that could go
Everywhere.
several directions.
Right.
But it's like, not to confuse the audience base. It's like, can we narrow it in? You know what I'm saying? To say, these are the couples at hand, TV shows we grew up watching, right? And like Polo, I know you said that the Huxtables to you were not relatable. It didn't seem real, and it came off as they were trying to be perfect. And it's just like, you like, I didn't see that.
Right.
And you know, Tasha was like, she related more to Good Times. A lot of us can relate more to Good Times because it just made sense. Wasn't nothing good about Good Times, but we just had to make a good time out of bad situations all the time.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like, you know, if it's okay, you know, could we just, like Polo, could you hit on all three couples? You get what I'm saying? Like TV shows, and just simply say, the Huxtables wasn't relatable to me because you already hit on it. You get what I'm saying? A little bit, but just said Huxtables was relatable to me because of these reasons. Good Times was more relatable for me because of these reasons. And Good Times was just like you said. We seen George Jefferson going in and out because he had to be at work. You know, Weezy was home, and you made it very clear that you seen your grandpa doing the same thing. That's where you get your work ethic from, right? And so it makes sense. You say you're not downplaying the Huxtables, but you're saying that I relate more to the Jeffersons because my grandpa was George Jefferson, you know, watching it. And then Good Times, that's just the struggle.
Right.
Like, that's just what it was. It's the grind. It's the everyday thinking your head above water and you really drown. It's like it's always something.
Right. And somebody in the world can relate to all three. I don't, you know.
Yeah, but
you're saying
that's not you.
Yeah, no, I can't say where they relate to the Huxtables, but maybe in Brooklyn or what it was, wherever it was from.
Yeah.
It might be a doctor and a lawyer and 7 kids that don't look alike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and they all work perfectly together.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be, but in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when you got that situation, they cousins, they brothers, and guess what? It ain't no doctor and lawyer or lawyer.
Yeah. So you're saying you don't relate to the Huxtables?
Nah.
That ain't.
But I watched it.
You watched it. It was good. But
it gave me hope. It gave me a feel good situation. Like, because my present wasn't gonna be my future. So and that's why I was saying I think that was the whole purpose of it, was that it gave people an escape. Like TV gave people an escape. It gave you an out.
Okay.
So your reality and Good Times, like you said, it was a reality check. This is what people live in. This is how, and if I'm not mistaken, they were in the projects.
It was realistic.
And it was, and I mean, they depicted it off real situations.
The Huxtables was inspirational.
There you go. And so that's where I come from with the conversation, to say, like, depending on where you come from in life, this is where they were going with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I guess when my conversation was so broad, it was just a conversation starter to let people know, like, what did you get from that? I'm like, hey, I can relate to that. But that inspired me to go further, because if you watch A Good Time, would you ever think about being a doctor?
No.
Would you ever think about marrying a lawyer?
No.
You see what I'm saying? And as a black girl, now you got authority to be a lawyer because of Mix Huxtable.
The Huxtables,
you know, as a black man, I got the authority because at that time, black people wasn't seen. I didn't say it wasn't black doctors. You didn't see it in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was no social media. It was no internet. And so therefore, that's why I came with the conversation to say, as society progressed, we lost attachment to our social dynamics, because at that time, that's all we had was TV. At that time, we had very little radio, because we didn't get radio play unless you was a certain dynamic.
Right.
But on TV, you got authority to think, to vision outside of it, based on these 3 shows that they given, that's what we got from that. So that's where I got from it.
And to your point, I think, sometimes when you get on these podcasts, it's like, you'll start with a point, and then, I think it went from the kids, and then we start talking about, our kids and the reality of, what we are today. It's like, these are the, I look at, we grew up married with children. You got a husband in the house. He really don't like the wife, the kids. So it was like, are these the reality of these talk shows? And I think we kind of moved to. But I also agree, because even when Jamie said what we talking about, to keep it focused. But sometimes you gear off because one point was turned into another point.
You have to,
and then another point.
It's a conversation.
But my reality, I think that I don't know. It wasn't because the Huxtables wasn't my reality. Mm-hmm. Even though we had 2 parents in the household, my granddaddy worked construction, my grandma was an at-home mother. It's kind of like it was, if you could merge them all. When you look at Good Times, because my granddaddy was the cusser. You gonna get cussed out, checked, and all of that. Mm-hmm. And then the Jeffersons, it was always what they instilled in us. And that's why I think that I had a drive to be successful. Why I poured in my kids to be successful, because these were the things. They didn't make us feel like it wasn't reality. Right. Our granddaddy used to be like, you can do whatever you want to do. The sky ain't the limit. This nigga's walking on the moon. So it was certain things like that, mm-hmm. that built us in that house to make us want to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And that's why I'm always on my daughters. Like, my auntie told me, I came home, I had a report card, and she was like, I had a C. She was like, anybody can be average. And that stuck with me, because I'm like, she was like, you happy about a C? Anybody can be average. Let me know when you step it up. So it was like, to some people, it might seem as if it was like, dang, but it was more of a motivational, mm-hmm. Type of thing for us. And they right. You mind me getting some of the viewer comments before you get to your next point? I know, let me see here. Will said, really, they don't look alike.
None of them kids looked alike, man.
Will put the fist up. Tawana said, I don't know, I could relate more to 227 and Sanford and Son. Mm-hmm. And then
Sanford and Son.
I know.
You have to explain that. Come on.
Laquita said, growing up, I related to Good Times, but no, I'm trying to relate, but now I'm trying to relate to the Jeffersons. And so, Tawana said, the woman and man in their life was everything. Family was everything, even when they were hot on your nerves. And that was the thing, all of them. If you think about it from different points, it was more of a family. But it's like you said, a lot of, I think Rob said, or no, that was you, Polo, said, mama outside. Everybody want to be young. Don't nobody want to invest in raising the kids. And then when they out here, robbing, stealing, killing, and then you doing them. My baby ain't never hurt nobody. And it's because we not.
You realize nobody
training them.
No, nobody took Big Mama's spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a raw reality that I digest. A lot of the pain come from, like you said, when Daddy went to jail and Mama was strung out and Big Mama was the only one who showed what we consider love. Yeah. When Big Mama left, love left. And the only thing that was left was pain. And so now we dealing with the product of that situation. And now they grown and they full of pain. And so now they sitting there saying, don't nobody love me. You can't love them the way they know love, because Big Mama love is gone, because nobody took over for Big Mama. In households, ain't nobody taking Big Mama's spot to keep the family nucleus together. Ain't nobody teaching the principle. Ain't nobody helping young girls become women. So it's almost like everybody want to go to the same part, which is having fun, being popular, and staying stable. And I know that's a product of the struggle, but at some point, somebody has to step out of that norm and be the sacrificial lamb to be Big Mama, because Big Mama took the weight of everybody, and everybody followed suit, because even, I don't care what generation you in, it was relevant. And now you sitting back saying, where's our salvation? And who gonna become the Big Mama in your family? And if you want to be,
but what if it's not receptive? Because we just lost our grandma. We just lost our.
So somebody has to become the spirit of.
But you know what? My mama is trying, because she's next. Like it's like my uncle passed, and then my grandma, who was our glue, who was the matriarch, and now my mama like, we need to get together. And everybody kind of like, now grandma gone.
Exactly, because everybody put it on grandma instead of looking at her as a spiritual being, because once that physical being is gone, the spiritual supposed to be ingested in somebody else. Because if you knew what you actually got from that, don't be selfish. Give it to somebody else.
Right.
Give it to your sibling. Give it to your cousin. Give it to your nieces. Give it to your nephew. Because you knew how you benefited from that love. Where we messed up as a people was we took it and didn't give it, and we didn't look at like even at being chastised in the neighborhood. We were chastised in the neighborhood. We became productive citizens to a extent. We actually have a conscience. Now, when you don't chastise these kids because you judge them, every generation got said this.
But they gotta want it though, Polo, because like
we didn't want it,
right? But you know what?
At some point, what they said made sense to us, and we was glad they said it to us because it ain't when you say it; it's when it makes sense. And if you never say it, you just as bad as the person who never hear it. But so you got to be the person.
We have an event, and my big brother was on here, Quab. I love G and Quab. Those are my big brothers in this fatherhood thing.
And they stay planting seeds.
Exactly. And every month, because a lot of it, it's a lot of men, and sometimes men feel like it's not okay. That's why I love my grandfather used to and my dad would tell my brothers, you better cry. They tell these men it ain't okay to cry. We have a event that we do. It's called Real Men, Real Talk. We do it every third Monday. At G's Clippers, yep. And Quab now is on the radio. Yep. He's creating a platform
WNOV,
now.
right?
Yep, at WNOV. Every day on the porch, 3 to 5.
3 to 5
so
on the porch.
I respect my, it's like it's still, if you're not getting it at home, if you're not seeing it in the neighborhood, you still got brothers out here that's just trying to create these atmospheres for you to come and feel safe to come and talk, for you to come and feel safe and say, I feel messed up, for you to come and feel safe to be like, I don't know what to do. So a lot of times we got to make sure that they know that the help is out here and the resources are out here and get them there. My mama when we were doing the fatherhood summits, my mama would make sure my brothers, my cousins, my mama would go, you need to get to this. That's why we only advertise on 98.3, because we attract the mothers and the aunties, because they gonna send their sons out. They gonna be like, you need to get up, Polo. Them folks over there doing that event over there, you need help. The girlfriends. Oh, I know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that we can prevent the pain. I'm not saying that we can't, we can't stop what has happened, but we're trying to create this safe space. Right. And it's available every day.
Right.
Now, Quab on the porch every day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that brother is vested. I love him.
Shout out to pioneers like Qua and Muhib and Muhib,
yes,
and all the brothers who make it okay for a young man to dream and give them authority to be who they want to be versus who they are right now in a circumstance. Because without brothers like that, then that's what I mean by becoming the big mama. And I'm not saying it correlating to gender, but I'm saying they give young brothers authority to push past the pain. Because if I could see where they came from, it gave me authority to be an entrepreneur. It gave me authority to be a black man in the community past being a thug. Because see, all of what we doing on the inside come out on the outside. But when you sue and you give a person authority to change on the inside, it comes out on the outside. Because all these brothers we talking about ain't always been who they are. Right. But they took that position and ran with it. And all I'm saying is, make your life be the change that you want to see in it.
So look, three comments, and then so you want to. TB said, what she say? I was raised in a home of 5 generations. And growing up in our generation had respect. The family of the Huxtables, but living a life of good times. And Rashida said, I did that for my immediate family. I sacrificed my youth to raise my children because they didn't ask to be here, and that's what my grandparents did for me and my sisters and cousins. So many families don't have that support now. And Tawana said, she said, we are a product of our upbringing, so we raise our kids the same. And some of us parents, including myself, been in denial. I love it, accountability. She said, so are we talking about marriage or kids? Tawana, let me say this. This is every Thursday we do this Why Did I Get Married podcast, but sometimes we get off. We start talking about other things. So every Thursday, if you guys want to pull up, my boy, listen here, Rob Harris, I love that brother over there. He created this space for us every day to come here. We get here about 5? I'm trying to get my sister right here to be a permanent fixture on the podcast. Polo is a permanent fixture on the podcast. My big brother, my little brother over there. So every Thursday we do this, and sometimes the topic is why did we get married? We talk about marriage and things, but sometimes we get off. Like today, it goes off. It's like sub conversation. So, but yeah, we love for y'all to pull up at 100 Gym. But okay,
let's
my girl.
my girl
needs to say something. Go ahead, baby.
So Polo, back to the point you were making, like you said, that we had the authority figure within the family.
Right.
And so, like the Bible says, if you could take the strong man down, you can invade the camp. So once the strong man is gone, the enemy has free range to come in and just terrorize the camp. Take everything, kill everything, just do whatever it takes, because the thing that the authority figure holds is the authority. Right. And you get what I'm saying? And so like the Huxtables, like you said, the Huxtables inspired you to dream. It made me realize that, man, like I can have a successful marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't perfect, but it's something I can see that I can aspire to work with my husband once I get there, you know, and our kids. And if they do things like on the Huxtables, Vanessa, she ran away and she was doing all type of stuff. And it's like, wow, seeing that, the chastisement of the way they dealt with the situations, right. You know, again, in a Black community, the way we were raised, and it worked, you know what I'm saying? We got whoopings, right. You know, but the Huxtable showed a way that, you know, I could whoop my child, but the Huxtable showed me, okay, but let's have the conversation after the fact. Right. You know what I'm saying? To say, this is why I did what I did. This is why, because if I don't beat you, somebody will. The police will. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be talking to you through a glass where I can't hug you or you know, or in the grave or things of that nature. So I have to instill this in you. And so to me, it gave both. I think that was a big
part. The dialogue that comes with the discipline is more important than the discipline, because you could whoop a child and don't give the dialogue as to why it came. Right. And it'd be pointless. Because what's the point of a whooping if you ain't gonna give corrective measures?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The Huxtables showed
the dialogue. To say, this is even in the show, it's like right. And you know, how the emotion, so people can relate to that,
right? You know, they let their kids, like, you know, they cried and they did all of those things, but they showed that they basically humanized their children. You know, to say, you, like you said, you can cry, you can show your emotion. You are a human being. It's just that me as a parent, I'm the authority figure. Right. I have to enforce.
I'm imposing order.
I have to enforce the authority. I have to enforce order. So you have to live in this world without me. Yeah. And I don't want you being a renegade in society, making yourself look bad. Because you're not gonna make me look bad. Because I know how, like Tasha said, I raised you the right way. Yeah. Now, with you, whatever direction you choose to go, that's on you. But as for me and my house, this is what we will do. Yeah. And so
did you ever feel like you needed help? Because Tawana said she can't be the only parent out here that feels like there's no help for us due to our upbringing. We still dealing with trauma and PTSD. She said, is there any kind of help for parents? She like, where's the safe space for parents to
right
come?
And you know what, and that's a big point. And so like I'll answer her question. Is the good times to me showed the struggle of there is no safe place for like the parents. We just can never turn it off. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like Florida Evans, baby. I mean, she was always on a go, you know? And it's like every time, and then James passed away, and then JJ just never got out the house. And it's like when does it stop? You know, or when does somebody give the parent a hand up, a safe space? So to answer the viewer's question is, it seems like there is no safe place for parents, you know, because I can relate from when I had my kids. I struggled, and I asked my mom questions, and I said, how did you get through this? How did you get through, you know, like, again, the good times? How did you get through a man getting you pregnant and he just left? How do you get through that heartbreak? My heart was hurting. It was broken. I said, how do you get through this pain? My mom said, you don't. You just decompartmentalize it and you move on with your life. She said, if you don't, it will kill you. And you know, so it's like, but I said, well, I don't understand. She said, Asia, nobody taught me, nobody taught my mama, nobody taught my grandma. She said, so I can only tell you what I did to get through it. She said, now what you do with that information, she said, it's a new generation. I graduated class 2006. And so at that time for me, I was like, well, I have kids now. I can't, like Tasha said, I can't pass that down to my kids. I can't give them just switch it to a different part of your brain and just move on. So then I started seeking out therapy. I needed help because in the inside of me, I was, like Polo said, what's in the inside come on the outside. And it was spilling over. It was coming out of me to the point where I got violent because I was so upset.
Hurt people.
Right.
Yeah.
I was so upset that my life was literally, I told my kids, I said, my life has been a nonstop episode of Good Times. I just told my son this last week. He said, what's Good Times? I said, watch an episode and find out. And so it just, because it seemed like it just didn't stop. It never stopped. And I was like, where is the turn switch? So to answer the viewer's question is, it seems like I wanted to create something called like a safe place for moms. You know, where we can come and talk crazy about our kids without being judged. Because sometimes as parents, I can only speak for moms, I can't speak for dads. But as moms, I want to say, you know, we want to say without being judged, I ain't really want to be a mama. But I couldn't say it out loud. You know what I'm saying? I love my kids, but I ain't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? When I first held my child, I don't know what you felt. I didn't feel that same feeling. When people say love at first sight, I didn't feel that. Am I wrong? You know what I'm saying? Do I not love my kids?
No.
Can I not say it out loud without saying, yeah, they don't choose to be here? But it's just kind of like, but again, like
I feel you
said,
though, because I was was you a teen parent?
Yeah.
Were you a teen parent? And see, as teen parents, that's the one thing, because see, for me, I detached so much because I was feel like I was missing something. My grandma raised some kids to the point where I forgot she was out of town. I got in my car and left, forgot the baby was even at home.
Right.
So you're right. We need to create a safe place for parents. Maybe,
Yeah.
Hint, hint, Rob.
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So now we got this beautiful. Because that is something, like you said, to say. You know what? A lot of people get mad when they be like, F them kids. Sometimes we really feel like, it's like when you do so much
without being judged.
Yeah, without being judged.
Yeah.
Like, y'all know we don't mean it for real, but sometimes y'all make us feel like that because we give. And like, you know, and it's like.
Right.
But I hear that. See, I hear that. My wife give that to me.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying place for her.
Yeah. Right. You know, and I'll say this and pass it on to someone else. Like Polo said, is that like the parents, they like, we outside.
Yeah.
The parents, we outside.
Because the new parents is under a different rule.
Right. But that's the thing, is like, it's like the parents are outside because it's like it becomes so much. Like Tasha said, her grandma stepped in. Thank God for grandma. Thank God for my mama.
Yeah.
Because if it was not for my mama, my sisters, I checked out because I did not know. It was so much that when my kids got older, my sister would give me pictures. I was like, when this happened? She said, where you go? You were there. I said, was I? Yeah. Checked out.
Physically, you was there. Mentally, you was just an autopilot.
I checked out. Like, I really did. And so it's just that these shows, they give real life. And so now thinking back on it, I was like, dang, Good Times really just wasn't a show. Like, that was real life.
Somebody filtered their life through that show, and guess what? Because it's real life, somebody can relate to it.
Yeah.
You
like,
know?
I'm like, it was real. The Huxtables, it really did teach me to be like, wow, I can have a successful, loving relationship, not just only with my kids, but with a man. Yeah. I'm like, I can have that because I was like, even seeing I had kids and he left. But the Huxtables was like, it taught me you can have this. And I was like, wow, he's going to stay? Like, he's going to stay?
Tawana said that. She said her kid's father didn't leave, but she still was overwhelmed. It's like, she said, I co-parent well with both of my kids' father. Not all women, men are single parents, and we still struggle. Mm-hmm. And then TB, she was agreeing with Tawana. Dang it. Yeah, my phone.
See, I think a big thing about parenting, period, is how kids come into this world isn't always how you take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you meet a man and you kicking it with him. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing y'all thing. Mm-hmm. At no point are y'all mentally in a state of parenting. And immediately upon conception, you have to deal with the reality that you're responsible. You do.
Yeah.
Immediately, you are genetically disposed that something is going on. I got to take care of this. I got to be responsible, whether your life is in a safe space or not. So that's where the trauma come in for the woman. The man does not have a physical attachment until maybe he decides that, guess what? This is my child and my lineage. So the two traumas or the two experiences is different. And I think that's what severs a lot of where men run and women traumatize where they have to stay, because you physically have to do 10 months with this child. And guess what? You build a bond. You build a relationship. Some come to the reality. This is something I got to do. I got to get ready for this. And them 10 months is training. If this your first child, is your second child, whatever. I don't know the experience for a woman, but for a man, he don't have that connection. And so unless you have that communication, a lot of us don't know what each other go through. A lot of us just don't know. And so that brings a traumatic experience when the kid come along, and it's like, shit, if you got integrity, you take for it. If you don't, but the woman got to deal with it regardless.
I'm gonna end it before. I'm gonna say my thing before our brother take us out. Like I said, if you interested, you guys want to come and hang out with us at the podcast, inbox me. Any of my friends that are watching and are commenting, inbox us, and I can let you know how we do this. But we got to let the man of the house take us out.
All right, y'all. That's 100 Gems Podcast. Another episode of with all the champs. They just got you talking about Mr. Huxtable and them. I'm going to chime in just real briefly on Mr. Huxtable and them. I didn't see none of the grind. All I seen was the fluff, you know what I'm saying, down the line. Fortunately, I got a little vision. And some folks came into my life, but none of that stuff came real until I got in it. But once I got in it, it was on and cracking. And I had everything it took to take care of a family, to be a good father, a good husband, all of the above. At the same time, like she said, it's a new day. I'm talking about these folks that's coming up, these young folks that's coming up, they need our help. And this is a vehicle to help them out. And I hope you guys continue to chime in, to comment, go subscribe, because we're going to be doing this every Thursday. As you can see, we got just a lively group, know what they talking about, been through it. All of us got different kinds of background, but we love what we do, and we love our families. And we come from different kinds of families. We love our business, and we come from different kinds. So y'all better just go subscribe and try to keep up with us, because if you don't, don't get left behind, because that's going to happen. So that's another episode of 100 Gems, baby, y'all. Peace.
Peace.